Okay, I got the 3 components soldered in. Make sure that after you solder them in that you take the X-Acto knife on the 3 pins that you're using, 2 for the diode and 1 for the resistor, and you scrape it off, get rid of the excess overflow of solder. Clean it off, brush it off with the brush. You want a good connection when it goes down inside the tube socket. So, and this thing came out kind of handy too. I was able to add some holes drilled in here, able to shove this down through, and the thing was like this while I was soldering, so it kind of helped. So it's a good little bore to have, and as I get some bigger holes cutters, I'm going to cut a few more and just keep the board just for a handy aid. So anyway, I got this done now. You can see the capacitors are away from the high wattage resistor. So I'm going to put it back in here now, back in the 3/4 inch hole, and it fits nice and snug in there like it's fitting into a tube socket. And then I'm going to hook the 2 cathodes up. And we gotta, let's see, I gotta bring this down. So a good spot, see, I only got this much leads here coming off of these things, so a good spot be right about in here. Then I can bend this at a right angle. Okay, because I gotta make my temporary connection here, and then I can bend this one, the other cathode of the diode, and bring it over like that. And see if I can get them squeezed together a little bit here, bend this a little bit here. There's a nice good connection, just touching each other there. And then this resistor will go and just stick it right over here. This is just, like I say, this is just temporarily. Okay, and then I'm going to solder this up. Right here. Get some heat on here, sweat it in. Put this on there like that. Grab my long nose and just hold it up against there. And there's your solid state tube. Let's pull this out. Okay. When I figure out what this resistor should be for this particular transmitter to get my 350 volts of low voltage, then I'll replace this. This is the high voltage section, and it consists of 2 diodes in series, because I gotta set this resistor here for output of 750 volts of B+. And it's a guesstimate too. This one here is this was about this is 560 ohms at 10 watts. And so when I get it in there and get the power supply up and running and see what my voltage is, and then I can figure this out. Because the manual on that HT-37 doesn't give me any current readings whatsoever. And there's only, you don't even measure the grid currents and stuff like that, so what are you going to do? Anyway, so both of these diodes in this power supply is, both these resistors are just experimental right now. But these are just 2 diodes that are running in series, because 750 volts, that's RMS, and you got a peak, you got so it's way up there. So you want, and these are only rated at 1,000 volts. So by having 2 in series, I got a 2,000 volt peak, 2,000 volts peak. So it should be fine. So now we're ready to go with that. Now you got to remember though, when you put these in place of a tube, you want to disconnect both wires that's on the tube filament socket. The socket that you're plugging this to, it has a winding for heating the heaters up, and you want to completely take those off. You don't want high voltage running back in through the transformer like it normally was, because that's what these old radios, the high voltage shorts, arcs over inside of the winding and the transformer in the filament circuit, and then the transformer goes up in smoke or something, and then you lost the whole radio. So that's the purpose of replacing this. Plus you save on this particular transmitter by going solid state. What I'm doing here, I'm even replacing light bulbs with solid state to work it real nice. I'm figured I'm roughly about saving 30 watts of power coming out of the wall. I'm saving about 30 watts of power. So that's a rough estimate, but you know, in a year's time with playing 30 watts, well, I'm going to save money and pay for this modification. Replacing the high voltage and all that, and circuit boards and everything else, it takes some money. That's and a lot of work. Plus the engineering has to go into it and all that, but people don't realize that. But so there you are. That's ready to go there. Now, getting back over here, you wanna make the shield. Okay. And all I did was, like I said, Ace Hardware. They got odd pieces. Cost me $1.75. I don't have to buy an 8-foot or 6-foot, 10-foot pipe. I only wanted a little piece, so I got one about 2 foot, $1.75. And the dimensions I used that works real nice with these tubes here, these particular socket tube bases, is 3 inches. Make this 3 inches. Okay. And then what you do, you got your 3 inches, and then you got you take the pipe and with the ruler, and then you at the bottom of the pipe right here, you measure your 3 inches, and you can put dots there at the 3 inch, and that's what I did here. You got dots there, 3 inches, 3 inches long, but I made it up at 3/4 of an inch off the bottom when this goes down. See, it's going to be up a tiny bit. That's where you're going to make your first hole. But anyway, you want the hole as closest to the top of this base as much as possible, so the air gets under there and goes up like a chimney, and it rises up. It takes the heat up. So anyway, come out to be 3/4. It's a 3 inch length, but the first hole is going to be 3/4 of an inch up. And you can look at this here, and it comes out to be about a half inch. About a half inch or a little bit more, 3/4. Oh, 3/4, but you're not going to get all the way down. So anyway, you got your first, and then you can put as many holes you want. On this one here, I've only put a few holes. This one here, I may put a few more. I got them drawn out here, but you just drill an 8-inch hole, get your pilot holes that you want. Then go to, I put a 1/4 inch holes through here. Okay. Then what you got to do is you got to take a half moon file after you got this cut, and on one side only, the side that's going to go down onto the base, you just want to bevel it out a little bit here. Okay, because you just can't get it straight down there perfectly, so you want to bevel out so she starts to go down a little bit. And you can take a little bit of Vaseline, not much, and the beveled end here, and just put it around here a little bit, Vaseline, and then she'll slip down and she'll fit nice and snug in there. And what I try to do is, you see the resistors here? This is my prototype. This is my second one. I haven't done this finish yet, but I'm gonna drill about 3 holes around here for more air. But when I put this into when it's sitting in the transmitter or your receiver, and you got the 3 holes lined up, you see there's the resistor. Try to line up with the holes facing right at the resistor. You want as much heat out of that resistor to come out of the tube as much as possible. See? So line that up if you can. I might even put a few more holes in here to get a better alignment here with that resistor back there. I don't know if you can see it or not. I can't see here in the thing, but you might see the resistor move past here. But right there. Anyway, that's about it. I just took this thing, you know, and stuck it in the vise here, and I measured up 3 inches from the end, and with the black marker, I just went around like this and drew my straight line, and I just took an ordinary hacksaw and just start cutting this, and just going slow and try to cut straight down as much as possible. And all I had to do was take my X-Acto knife and just go around the edges, you know, outside and inside, and clean it up. And then, after you got your holes drilled, you take some sandpaper, some little rough, and you sand off the surface, because when they make this stuff, there's a wax. Even inside you can see it's shiny. It's a wax, so they can break it. I guess how it's made in it, extrusion or something. They force the globule of plastic, or however they do it, shove it through a die. But they have to have the wax in there. It's on the outside and the inside to pull it apart. So if you paint over it, you want the paint to stick to the plastic, but you have to first get that wax off the surface, and then you get some fine. I had some real fine sandpaper, and then I sanded down the roughness of the surface. Then I just took Walmart primer, just ordinary Walmart primer, and I sprayed it. It comes out real nice. And then I labeled it. See, with a labeler, I guess 5R4. That's the tube. And I know it's the one that has the extra diodes in it for the high voltage. And it has also the pinouts different too. This one has 4 and 6 is the plate like this one, but pin 8 is the output. So when you pull that filament windings off that tube socket, you're going to have to run another wire to over from whatever pin is your cathode, run it on, or it's going to be, you know, whatever resistor is that, the pin number of that resistor, run it over to the capacitors or the input choke, whatever that power supply, how it's built. So I hope that maybe this helps you. If some of you have never done this before and all that, will get some use out of this and save their old transmitters and receivers to run another day. So anyway, this is W9EHU saying 73s, everybody, and have a good day. Right now it's, what is it? It's 20 degrees in the sunlight with my thermometer outside hanging in a tree, but it was 4 above 0 this morning. 73. See you later. If I get it shut off, I don't know. Well, who knows? When it works, it works. Good camera.